Hey, Dani, thank you so much for just being willing to take some time to just share what God's doing in your life right now. I'm excited for everyone to just hear more of your story. For those who might not know you, could you just share with us how you got connected to COTFC and the Independence Hub?
Yeah, thanks, Courtney. I got connected through COTFC whenever I was in high school. I really didn't have a relationship with God at the time, but I believed, and I said, God, if you want me, come find me. And so I got an invitation to the church in the mail and decided, since I was already attending Truman, that I would go ahead and check it out. And I loved it and could feel Jesus and the Holy Spirit, so I stayed. And then I moved home from El Paso about a year ago, and 5 months ago I heard you and Brandon talking about Missionary Pathway and how you guys were building disciples. And I had been talking to God about wanting a community and wanting friendship and things in the church. And so I was sitting in the crowd. God was like, go talk to Courtney. And I'm not going to go talk. And then he said, well, I'm trying to build you a community. Are you going to be obedient and listen? Or are you just going to ignore me? And so I decided to be obedient and go and talk to you.
We're so glad you did. We did Missionary Pathway for 7 weeks together, just learning how to live on mission. And prayer and fasting is kind of the crux of that. So you really pressed into that.
Yeah, so I believe that prayer is a direct line to God, and direct communication, as well as fasting, is really humbling ourselves and allowing God to reposition our hearts towards Him. And so between prayer and fasting and just talking to God, I finally heard Him say, I'm ready for you to start DBS, which is Discovery Bible Study. So I said, okay, God, I want to do what you're telling me to do, but I don't have a group to do this. And what can I do? I said, if you want me to do this, send them. And so He did. He sent me my community. That's been a very cool thing to just witness, a very cool thing to just seeing them come closer to God and to build community around themselves and to see everybody just stepping out and really being the hands and feet of Jesus. On Wednesday nights, we all come together to have dinner at my house. We all worship. We all do communion together, and we'll go through some connecting questions, just what are you thankful for this week, and what challenges are you facing? And I feel like that allows us to become grateful and vulnerable with each other. We've been studying Romans, so we'll open up and we'll go through the book of Romans, and we'll break it up verse by verse or chapter by chapter and just kind of talk about the three major questions. What does it say about people? What does it say about God? And what are we going to do about it? At the end of the night, we'll kind of go through how we can apply this to our lives. And then we'll kind of popcorn prayer at the end of the night. Prayer requests, praise reports, stuff like that, just what God's doing in their lives. And then we also have a Zoom DBS as well, where we'll all get on Zoom. We'll kind of do the same thing, but it looks a little bit different. That's usually just, hey, how's your guys' week going? We'll jump right on into Romans and kind of connect that way, as well as talking about what God's doing in their lives in West Virginia, Texas, Colorado, and Nebraska.
So did you ever see yourself as a missionary or a church planter?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. My parents have always said that I was going to plant a church or be a missionary or something. And I always just said, no, I'm not. You guys are crazy. I'm a wallflower. I am an imperfect person sitting in a room of imperfect people. So this is going to be a little bit messy. We're coming together and really figuring out who each of us is and getting to know each other still. That was definitely a big thing. And also just stepping into a leadership role, because as I said, I never really saw myself doing something like this. So stepping into that leadership role, and I want God to just lead. I want Him to just take over. And He's like, I've chosen you to be the instrument, so I need you to do this. And I'm like, So that's been kind of hard. Oh no, I definitely did not see myself doing this, but I'm so glad that God did this and decided to use me as an instrument.